Hey everybody, today we're going to teach you how to clean and disassemble your Glock G43X. The same principles we're about to show you apply to the Glock 43, the 43X in front of us, as well as the Glock 48. These are all from the Slimline series from Glock, so the procedures of assembly, disassembly, maintenance, and care, it's the same for all of them. So looking at our G43X here, we have an enhanced mag well from Tyrant, our enhanced magazine release, a slide cover plate, and this gun isn't entirely dirty, but we're going to show you, if it were aggressively dirty, what you need to do. To start, we always want to make sure our gun's unloaded, so we're going to remove the magazine. Then we can visually manually check the gun is not loaded. So setting the pistol down, what do you do with magazines? On a Glock firearm, or any handgun for that matter, there's two areas that you never oil. One of them is the magazine and your striker channel inside the slide. So while we can cosmetically wipe down our magazine body, we could disassemble it and just dry wipe it out, but you never want to oil a magazine because you never want to get oil anywhere near the ammunition, and obviously the ammunition stored in your magazine. And then also your firing pin, your striker channel, touches your ammunition when it's in the chamber to detonate it and fire it. So those are two areas we never want to oil, your magazine and the striker channel. So since our magazine is clean, we're going to move on to the physical firearm. So looking at the pistol here, we can always clean the outside, just cosmetically wipe it down. Our gun isn't dirty, but if yours was, like, you can just simply wipe the exterior down. The exterior isn't typically what gets very dirty, it's the interior. So what we're going to do is field strip this. We already verified magazine removed, visually manually check gun's not loaded. So we're just going to rack the slide back a hair. We're going to pull down on this takedown tab on both sides, let our slide go forward. Now we're sitting on top of these takedown tabs. We can go ahead and pull the trigger. We already checked it's not loaded, and our slide's going to start to come off. To start, we're going to work on the frame for a little bit. We're going to revisit the slide. So on the frame here, again, you can just cosmetically wipe this down. If you really wanted to, although not completely recommended, you can add just a touch of oil to your sear block, just these pieces back here. But if you have a lot of oil or a lot of moisture, essentially, it's going to collect dirt and grime. So we basically want to have this just dry wiped, dry cleaned, and then go around with our rag, wipe and clean anything that's visually, cosmetically dirty. Again, our pistol is nice and clean to begin with, but that's just something that you want to look for, is just anything that you can cosmetically wipe down, you can clean. Now, we're going to go back to our slide here. You have your recoil spring. This is something that you just basically want to have dry as well. As we go through explaining how to clean your G43X, you're going to hear over and over that it's often better to have your gun more dry than it is oiled and wet. So with this recoil spring, we just want to make sure that that's basically dry, as clean as it can be. That's good to go. Looking at our barrel, this is something that you can push patches through, run brushes. We're just looking on the outside of our barrel here. There's a little bit of dirt on the outside of our barrel because we have that recessed crown that Glock puts in their barrels now, Glock marksman barrels. You can just kind of wipe that out, get that a little clean. And one area in which Glock does recommend that you put oil on your firearm is the hood of your barrel. What's the hood of your barrel? It's this area right here. So we're going to put our Glock back together real quick, just for explanation purposes. So when your firearm is completely together, the hood is this area right here inside the slide, and that rubs and has a lot of friction with the slide while you're shooting and everything's in motion. So that's one area in which Glock tells you that you actually do want to add oil. So we got our little classic Rem oil bottle, nothing more classic than that. We're just going to try and put a tiny little drop on the hood. That's all you need. You see just that singular drop just dissipating throughout the barrel hood. We're going to leave that be. So now we're going to revisit our slide here. We can see that there's a little bit of like orange or bronze grease in here, that's factory grease that Glock had put in here. It's kind of like a copper solution that just adds to the lubricity of the slide against the frame. You can even see it in like the rail channels here. So that's another point in which you want to add oil if you want to clean your G43X. Since we already have some from the factory in here, we're going to leave that be. Remember, we want our gun to be more dry than wet. But on both sides, you have that just kind of copper colored gel, oil, lube, whatever Glock is installed in there. That's just something that you can leave in there. Now looking at like the rear of the slide here, we have this slide cover plate from Tyrant, and we have our striker channel. Now, as you can recall, we said that you don't have any oil in here. So one thing that you can do is we can remove this this slide cover plate to get to our striker channel. In order to do that, you have a little plastic sleeve to this striker channel, and we can use our little pin tool, our Glock tool, and we can push down on this. You can see that's spring loaded, and that's going to relieve tension off of the slide cover plate. So I'm going to put this on the mat here, push down, and then while we're doing that, we're going to drive and try and push this slide cover plate off with our thumb. There's two things under spring tension. Your extractor channel, there's a spring going all the way through the slide here to your extractor, and there's also a spring with the striker channel. So when we're pushing down on this, slide cover plate off, we want to catch that. You just heard that click, that pop. So this is our striker channel and the assembly to go with it, and this is our extractor channel, where we have a spring, a detent, and our extractor way down here. We can remove our striker channel just with our thumb, just pushing, sliding this out. And what we're going to do here is just dry this off. We don't want this wet. There can be hydrostatic tension and buildup in that striker channel if it's wet, oily. We'd rather see this bone dry than any moisture on it. This appears to be in good functioning condition. Gonna wipe it dry a little bit more. Doesn't seem like there's any oil in the striker channel, and there shouldn't be. So we're going to add back in our striker assembly, push that all the way down, and then to put our Tyrant slide cover plate back on, we just want to push this in here, have it started, and then you can take our little punch tool and push down on this striker assembly. Try not to shoot the camera. Gotta push, push, push. And then we're gonna slide the slide cover plate. We got that started over the top. Now we also wanna push on this little extractor channel. So we're gonna push on this, get our slide cover plate going, and that clicked into place. So now if you've cleaned out your striker channel, you've added oil to the rail guides here within the slide, the last place that you could add oil is to these stainless steel rails that are integrally infused into the polymer frame. Those are making contact with the slide, so when you're shooting and it's going click, clack, click, clack, that's the friction point with your slide here. So we do have a little bit of oil here within the slide. You can also add some to those little rails. We're just gonna add the tiniest little drop. Get a little something over here, a little something over here, and there. Now, get our slide back together, get that barrel back in. We'd put some oil on the barrel hood, get our recoil spring back in, get that, compress that 1/16 of an inch. Now it's sitting on the bottom part of our barrel. Get this slid back onto our frame. Can add our magazine. And now your gun is good to go to head to the range. You're kitted out with Tyrant enhanced parts. Your gun's clean, it's functional, you are set. So if you have any questions about working on your Glock 43X, Glock 43, or G48, these are all the slimline handguns from Glock. Just let us know any of your questions that you might have in the comments. We'd be glad to answer them. And as always, make sure to watch our channel for future content on future products that we'll be bringing you. We'll see you again next time.